Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're doing the pyramid wrap-up of all of my October reads. We've been doing this for a couple months. You guys know how it goes. It's ALDC style. Like I'm saying, you're at the bottom of the pyramid, you're my worst read of this month, and this is my top read. For this month, I have 2 books that I'm not rating, and you'll see why. I read 11 books in October. I have my coffee. This is my favorite coffee right now. I was on a matcha kick. I'm kind of still on my matcha kick. I'm just running out of my matcha powder. This is made with the Trader Joe's cinnamon bun oat creamer and then almond milk. Skip a couple seconds because I'm just gonna update you about my life. This month I was filming 4 videos simultaneously. I'm still filming 2 of them. I finished 2 this month. I haven't been uploading too much. I hope that changes now that they're almost all done. If you skipped my life update, don't worry, it doesn't matter. We're gonna get to the books very soon. This is my least favorite book that I read this month, and the book that I rated lowest, which was Fantasma by Callie Smith. I heard that it was like kind of like a darker Caraval type of vibe. I didn't really care too much about Caraval, but like I liked the night circus. And so I feel like those are kind of like secretive like competition thing that you have to go to. It's not like Hunger Games where you're like, oh, you volunteered or like you were like forced to do it. This one's like they aren't really forced to do it, they just do it. This one was dark gothic fantasy. I think we have to be a little bit more narrow with what we consider gothic. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, to me, Fantasma and like Belladonna, for example, are 2 like contemporary fantasy gothic romances. This one's adult. There are spicy scenes. I would say quite a few of them. I'm just like, please, can we stop? Can we stop? In this book, we follow our main character, Ophelia. Ophelia is from a family of necromancers. Her mom dies. Her and her sister have to like take on the financial burden of like keeping their estate alive and stuff like that. And so they're both not having good times. Her sister Genevieve takes on the burden to go into this like competition. I think it's Fantasma. I don't know. She goes into this competition to like get a devil's wish and so, like something like that so she can like help her family. Since Ophelia is the older sister, she's like kind of taking care of everything. She knows like the magic side, and like Genevieve is more like into society and stuff like that. This book all over the place. I don't know what, like it's like in a like an alternate universe where like we're still in like the 1890s, like that type of thing, but then also like low-key like kind of like contemporary like 1940. We're in New Orleans. If we're in New Orleans, I know there's white people in New Orleans. I know there's white people in New Orleans. If we're like in the setting is set in New Orleans, I want to read about people from that culture more than like I don't know, like that is something I will seek out in the future, like Black New Orleans culture, and just like seeing how that's like represented in books, because I think it's so fascinating. I just want to read more about that. Genevieve enters Fantasma. Ophelia's like, oh no you're not. So she enters Fantasma too. She gets like kind of like interwoven with like this ghost that is supposed to help her win all these challenges. One thing about the challenges, not hard. Why are like regular humans like surviving and being fine until like the very last challenge where everyone's like, oh my god, I want to leave. So like it's just like, I do not care. Like, what are you doing? Ophelia, she was like capable, then she also wasn't capable. It was like such a weird dynamic because she was like so reliant on like that ghost figure to like help her out. Like without that ghost figure, do not know how she would survive. I'm not gonna lie. But then before she got into the competition, she felt capable. Like she felt like she knew what she was doing. Like it just like flipped on its head, and I feel like she really changed for the worse. I'm not gonna lie. And she just didn't see like the simplest things coming. She was always talking about how Genevieve was so incapable of taking care of herself. I think the romance was just like, I was like, okay, why are there so much? Like 2.5 stars. 2.5 stars for me. Next book on the pyramid is Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. Okay, this book was bad. And my rating doesn't reflect how like kind of out of character these characters were in this book, because I liked the characters in the first book, and it just like I liked their dynamic between the first book and the novellas that Lynn Painter has put out. This book severely lacks everything. This is a very generous 3, and so if it really does come down to it, if I had no connection to these characters, it would probably be like a 1.5 stars. That is such a massive bump, like 1.5 stars bump. It's just so sad to see that this happened. Basically, the first book follow Liz and Wes, and they do like a fake dating type of thing because Liz has a crush on one of Wes's friends. He kind of helps her. That's what happened in the first book. They were in high school in the first book. This is now they're in college, and they have actually broken up. They've broken up for a reason. What really got to me was the fact that Wes was so out of character once he realized something that was so, of course it's gonna happen. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like my experience in college, because my college is like not the biggest, but like it's also not the smallest ever. I see the same people every single day. I see the same people every day. I'm walking down the street and I'm like, oh yeah, I know them. They were in my class freshman year. Like that, I am psychopathic. So like the fact that he wasn't even like, oh my god, like I didn't even think that. And then he just like, after that realization, he was just so like transfixed on it. And I was just like, boy, you're a mechanical engineer. Get on your work. Like, what are you doing here? Liz just, I was just like, whatever. whatever. I think I was always about whatever with Liz, but like Wes really was like, okay, what are you doing, guys? It was like fine. The romance was the romance was whatever to me, especially because like this is like a second chance like rekindling of it. It wasn't good. If you don't like the miscommunication trope, peak miscommunication, but like I don't mind. I don't mind the miscommunication trope, and you'll see this in another review on this pre-read, but I don't mind it. So there's that. Wes just was really out of character. The romance just didn't really hit. I think this book was entirely unnecessary. This is out of the canon in my Liz and Wes like dynamic, and I hope if better than the movies. I think it's having a screen adaptation. If it does happen, I hope this is canon in it either. This is just Liz and Wes fanfic, and it's not canon. Next is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. This was on my October TBR. Now that October's done, I'm just gonna tell you I did not finish my October TBR. I have 2 books that I just did not read, and I kind of knew I wasn't gonna read them. Quicksilver on my October TBR, 600 pages of nothing basically. In my review, I really compare it to When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Hated that book, gave it like 1 star. There was just like one specific scene that really like bumped it down. I was like, why are we doing this? Like, this is like wholly unnecessary, and it just feels like you're shitting on this like other population that doesn't adhere to the like norms that you and your society do. But I was just like, okay, whatever. That's that in itself. Yeah, going into this book, I had never really had high hopes. I didn't think it was gonna be higher than a 4 just because of like the way it is. I don't know, I'm just not really into the romantasy anymore, and that's not to say like I'm never gonna read it ever again. I just like realized that I just don't care about that, which is funny because I do like a romance in a fantasy book. In theory I like romantasy, but in practice I don't like romantasy. So I gave this one 3 stars. It was fine, it was whatever. It just really didn't blow me out of the water. I wasn't really like, oh my god, I love this world that we're in and stuff like that. And so I feel like the world building of this one was just like entirely lackluster to me, because maybe it's because I read it in a week. I never really grasped what we were doing, especially our main character Saris. So Saris, she's in the population of the third, and the third, they are really poor. They're getting like not censored. What are they going? Their rations of food and water are dwindling because of the queen. They have to do whatever they need to do to survive. Saris is like, oh my god, like I'm gonna take it upon myself to take care of me and my brother. She gets captured by the queen, and then she also gets captured by some fae. Like, the humans in this world don't know that fae exist. They think they're just like legends and myths and stuff like that. One of the fae who's in charge of the army, Kingfisher, horrible name, gross name, like I want to throw up when I think of his name, takes a liking, it is kind of like liking, but like it's also like you could help me liking. She is apparently a rare type of I said magician. She has a rare type of magic called alchemy. She's an alchemist. Oh my god, I think I said alchemy in one of my other video. But she's an alchemist, and so she can like do stuff with metals, which is like not far off of alchemy. I digress. Kingfisher needs her to produce something called quicksilver, or like handle quicksilver. I do not know what quicksilver is. I do not know what quicksilver is. Maybe it just went over my head. Maybe I just don't have horrible reading comprehension. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, because they are at war with another population of like vampires. That's all I have to say. 3 stars. It was whatever. It was a lot of spice in here too. I just don't think the romance progressed other than the spice to me. I didn't feel like they cared about each other whatsoever, especially in their circumstances. I was like, okay, can you see me? Hello, can you see me? 3 stars. Hate the name. Didn't really care about anything. Didn't care about the world building. Didn't care about the world. Didn't care about the war. Didn't care about anything. The fight scenes were just like meh. Like everything was totally meh, and I can't fault it for that. I can't. So it's a 3-star book. It's whatever. I would recommend it if you like this type of book, and that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say about this. I say that's all I have to say. I've been talking for like 5 minutes on this one book. Next book on the pyramid is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This was my book club's book. It is a thriller. You guys know how I feel about thrillers. I'm not like the biggest fan of thrillers. I feel like since I've watched so many like crime TV shows, nothing hits like Spencer Reed. Okay, I gave this one 3 stars. I liked it. I feel like Riley Sager's writing's just like mediocre. It's not the best. It's not the like most beautiful prose I've ever read, but it's a thriller. He does good plots. Our main character's name is Jules. She's in desperate times, desperate needs. She finds this ad in the newspaper and is like, oh, we need an apartment sitter. This apartment, the Bartholomew, is like really pretentious. They don't have a lot of like media coverage, so no one really knows what happens, but there's high profile people living there. Jules gets hired to apartment sit in this vacant apartment because the tenant of that apartment is dead, and they just need someone to like have the lights on, stuff like that. She gets paid to live in this beautiful apartment, but no visitors, nothing. Jules makes friends with this one other apartment sitter, and the apartment sitter goes missing, and she's like, oh my god, what the freak is happening? Heard some messed up stuff happening in the Bartholomew. She kind of investigates, and that's what happens. Nothing too out of the ordinary. The twist is not something I saw, but I saw it at the same time. Like, I didn't see the specifics, but I saw it, you know? Better than other thrillers that I've read. I like it when I'm not the criminal. And by I'm not the criminal, our main character isn't the criminal. I like those like type of like what's gonna happen to this one character that I'm in the POV of, then I'm the one inflicting all that. And I feel like that's why I like these types of thrillers. I like crime-centered thrillers. I'm not like the biggest like, ooh, supernatural, but I know that's like horror type of thing. Next is Wolf Song by TJ Klune. I've read 2 previous TJ Klune's books, which were Under the Whispering Door, 4.5 stars, and then The House in the Cerulean Sea. I think I gave this one 4.5 stars, 4.25 stars. This one is on TJ Klune's backlist. I kind of knew that going in. I knew the writing wasn't going to be as like polished up as the 2 other books that I've read by him. I'm giving it 3.25 stars. The 0.25 star is a boost because I loved the characters. I love the characters and I love the way they progressed. I just didn't care about like the material of the plot. I think the plot was thought out. It didn't really grab my attention. I know, guys, don't act like I don't know. Maybe you guys don't know, and maybe it's better if you guys don't know the Omegaverse. And so I was expecting it to kind of be like that, like type of, not like full into that type of dynamic, but I expected a little bit more of that. And so like it kind of like rattled my brain that Omegas in this universe are like bad because like they have no like human tether to them, so they're like their humanity's gone. Basically like Stefan when he loses his humanity in the Vampire Diaries. The world building here, it just didn't really like, ever hit, and maybe it's because it is from 2016, but it was just like, yeah, we're werewolves, yeah, just deal with it. It just never really like expanded upon that more. It kind of felt like Twilight world building where you're just thrown into it. It's like, oh yeah, Edward's a vampire. The conflict was good. I think what they did was good. I think the middle bit of the book really severely lacked, especially because of a decision that a character made. So basically Ox, we meet him and he's like 12 years old. His dad leaves, and so he's had a pretty tough life. He doesn't really have that many people supporting him. When he's 16, a new family moves in near him, and so he's like, oh my god, I have to meet these new neighbors. They kind of like take him in, and he like builds this like really beautiful found family in his life throughout the rest of the book, and I loved that bit of the book. There is a romance. There's 2 spicy scenes in this book. It's one of the things, little iffy, but in this world it like makes sense on how it is, but I don't really condone it at the same time, you know what I mean? There's that. Wolf Song, 3.25 stars. I will not read the rest of the books because there are 3 other books in the series. They are written pretty early in his career as well, and after a specific thing happened at the very end of this book, it really cringed me out. And so if the rest, I know the rest of the books will like kind of like semi-include that type of thing, so it's just not really my style. I just think it really cringed me out. I was like, please skip. Next is Solitaire by Alice Oseman. I gave this 3.5 stars. One thing about me is I love the Heartstopper series. I have 1 book of the graphic novels left. I've watched the whole TV show. I've loved it. I cried. It's just like, it really holds dear to me, and I love the Heartstopper series, and I love the universe that Alice Oseman has created in those graphic novels. This starts the universe. It follows Charlie's older sister, Tori, and it has an older sister. I love Tori. I love Tori in the TV show. I loved her in the 4th book of Heartstopper, and so I was really super excited to get into Tori. I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's the way that it was written. It was written really early, I think 2016, 2013, and it just like it feels its time. It does give off like not the most Wattpad, but like the Wattpad, like, oh my god, I sat in bed, I pulled my laptop and I went on social media, like that type of thing. And so I just didn't care about it too much. The conflict happened in this book was severely overlooked. I feel like everyone in the whole entire book overlooked it, and maybe it's like the surveillance aspect that I have now in our society in America, and this is like in England, but like there was like some crazy shit going down that I was like, you need to get the police involved. Like, why are the police not involved? Tori is a year older than Charlie. This is the book that I was like why is Charlie not like involving his sister into his like friend group? If my brother was 1 year below me and he had a bunch of friends, like really good friends too, and he didn't involve me, I would be like, what the hell, bro? Like, that's insane. She's so focused on Charlie's feelings and Charlie's everything because of what Charlie's gone through that I feel like she's really overlooked in her family and her friends and stuff like that. And so it hits, but it doesn't hit because I don't think it was really executed as well as I was imagining and expecting it to be. And it's probably because it is such an old book and it really starts everything. And I feel like Alice Oseman has like fleshed out all their characters even more throughout the graphic novels. So it's just like, I'm not like harking on it, but I just feel like explaining why I didn't like love it as much as I was expecting to. The Michael character. Michael is a character that she meets in this book because she's in like sixth form now, instead of like the separated schools that are like the boys like Truum and the girls Higgs. Sixth form it's like basically like your last years of high school. But she meets this guy Michael who's from Truum. She's never met him, but he goes to Higgs for sixth form. They kind of hit it off, but the Michael in this book doesn't replicate what I saw on screen. I saw the third season of Heartstopper, took in Michael, and then I read this book, and I feel like Michael just didn't hit the nail. So sorry that I'm like shitting on him. This Michael was like kind of like, he's like the troublemaker, like prankster type of guy. He's so extroverted and he's like, he gets what he wants. The Michael I saw on screen was like so like, he felt like awkward, and I feel like that's what I was expecting, especially for Tori. So I don't know. I don't know if there's more in her like Solitaire like universe, but I do want to read more about Sussman's work. I think I'm gonna go to my no rating for my book. The first book that I'm not putting a star rating on is Heartstopper Volume 4. For how much I love the series, I don't really rate it because I don't know how to rate graphic novels, and I feel like I just fly by them so quickly, and they're just so like sugary sweet to me, even though this one's not sugary sweet. I think I cried for 10 minutes straight for like just a specific thing in this book, and it really hit home. I love the series. I love everything about it. The artwork's so cute. I love seeing it translate to screen so much, and I'm so happy that it has translated to screen. And so it brought like, I've watched the series before I read the books, and so I'm so glad that it's like led me to the book. So I just love the on-screen adaptation. I love the actors who portray the characters, and I love what it's done for the youth the youths. So I love it. It's so cute. So, and then next is The Anthroposcine, reviewed by John Green. I listened to it and I read it. So I read probably like 80, 100 pages, and then I got the audiobook from my library. Listening to it with John Green's voice hits really hard. It doesn't feel like an essay type of book where he's just like throwing facts at you when he's reading it to you, especially on like 2.5 times speed. I love it. I like the audiobook a lot. Basically is John Green reviewing things that are so inherently human, and like in this human-centered world that we live in, the Anthropocene, which is like our like geographic phase that we're in right now. So yeah, he just rates different things like Diet Dr. Pepper, stalking people on the internet, like just like trivial things that are so inherently human, but I love him. I think it's just so good. It is more of like a memoir, like essay type of thing, since it's like nonfiction memoir about his life, and he like adds in things specific to him. I just don't ever want to rate a memoir. I just don't think it's like right. So I really enjoyed it. I really recommend listening to it. I think it's really good. So yeah, that's my review of The Anthropocene reviewed. Back to the main pyramid. Next we have An Education and Malice by S.T. Gibson. Education and Malice, S.T. Gibson, sapphic, vampire, dark academia, gothic, romance. Every key word hit my soul. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. I like the way S.T. Gibson writes. We follow two main characters, Laura and Carmilla. Carmilla and Laura are in this like prestigious university type of thing, and they are both in this poetry seminar whose professor she's like the real deal, Professor De La Fonte. Laura is really trying to impress her because it's her first year at the school. She had to wow the professor to get into the seminar. It's not for first year students, and so she's like kind of trying to prove herself. Carmilla is like the star student to this professor, and so we kind of like get into that dynamic between Carmilla and the professor. Now that Laura's joined this poetry seminar, Carmilla feels threatened, and she's like, oh my god, what the heck. I really liked the bickering and like the academic rivals that Carmilla and Laura had in the beginning of the book. The second half of the book felt like we kind of lost the characterizations of Carmilla specifically because of what happened, and the beginning was so good because it was so complex, and like the relationships and the dynamics that I was like trying to dive into. But then the second half was just like, oh yeah, you forgot, like this is about vampires, and it was purely about vampires, and like this one specific plot point was just like, why, like I didn't think it really needed it too much. So 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed the writing. I liked the characters. I liked reading their dynamics and everything like that. Love their relationship. Next is This Is How You Lose a Time War by, oh my god, I have it written down. I don't want to butcher the name. By Max Gladstone and Amal El Motar. This is a sci-fi romance type of book. These two characters, Blue and Red, they are on opposing sides of this. This is a mega war. Like they are at war. Like this is high stakes, and so both of them are like kind of agents for their side. Agency represents like the technological, like they want to advance technologically, and then Blue's side is like natural, trying to right the wrongs that humanity has caused on our planet, basically. Blue writes this letter to Red, and Red's like, oh my god, what the heck is this? Like, are they trying to like kill me? They kind of like write letters back and forth, and then it forms into a romance. And I think the way that they write to each other is just really sweet. But when I think of you, I want to be alone together. I want to strive against and for. I want to be a context for you and you for me. I love you and I love you, and I want to find out what that means together. So cute. I'm giving this 4 stars. I liked it. This is like kind of like multiverse time travel. So like both these agents go back in time to fix certain things for that like timeline to be in line with their agency's agenda, basically. So it is kind of confusing. I had to read a Wikipedia article about it, but I liked it. It was a good book. 4 stars. And then my favorite book of this month was Sally Rooney, Beautiful World, Where Are You? Okay, Sally Rooney, she really did it. I read Normal People, but that was my first Sally Rooney book. I really enjoyed it, and I didn't know if Sally Rooney is going to be a one and done author for me, but she wasn't. What I'm sensing, Sally Rooney's books are peak miscommunication, kind of like Magnolia Park's peak miscommunication that I want to rip my hair out and scream. So if you like that, read this. Basically, we follow our main Alice and Eileen. They became friends in college, and it's like kind of like evolved into them where they are now in like their late 20s. Alice is a famous novelist, and then Eileen, she's an editor for like this like I think nonprofit essay like type of thing. They both have like 2 respective people in their like lives when we're in this book. So Alice has this guy named Felix, and they meet on a dating app. She's like trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life. She feels she has no drive. She doesn't know what to write anymore. And so Eileen, she doesn't know where she fits in. She feels kind of stuck. And so she has this guy named Simon who has been a like childhood friend since she was like really young. Simon and Eileen dynamic. I loved Eileen's like portion of the story. I loved everything about it, and that's where it really wants you to like scratch your eyes out. Basically, Eileen and Alice, since they don't live near each other, they communicate via email, which is crazy, and they just like rant to each other. They're so open with each other. They just say everything that comes to their mind, and they don't have to feel like they're judging each other too harshly. One thing I read about one of the reviews was like it felt like they were just complaining to complain, and it does feel like that way, and they were just like it's so inherently negative. But like honestly, you can complain about anything you want in your life. That's like a part of life. Something Sally Rooney does, and she knows that these characters are privileged. They're privileged white women living in a first world country in Europe. They know their privilege, they recognize it, but they still have nuance to them because they do hate things, they do love things, and they do have strong opinions about things. So I feel like I really liked that portion of the book, and I feel like that's what I was trying to give out, because like yes, these women are white and they are financially fine. I loved Eileen and Alice. The other 2, they were fine. I feel like one took a lot more for me to like kind of like warm up to, and I feel like that's just his characterization and like how he goes about everything. I feel like the men just were lacking to me. I love the book. I love the relationships that family, friendship, actual like love relationships. I love the book. I'm giving it 4.25 stars. Like I loved my time in this universe. I loved getting back into the world, and I don't know, I haven't felt that in any of the other books. I haven't felt that in so long. I haven't had a 5 stars since May. Literally want to stomp my foot down. Since May? What are you talking about? It didn't give me those 5-star feelings, but I really enjoyed my time reading it, and I love Sally Rooney's work. Can definitively say that because I loved Normal People and this one. Even if the other 2 are like duds for me, I loved Sally Rooney's work, and her writing is very contentious. This book is the newest one before Intermezzo. It did feel a little different than Normal People in the fact that she was so descriptive. Like she was like writing everything. Like I was holding this microphone with my 3 fingers on top of it and my thumb in the behind it with my pinky up, and I was wearing a gray sweater with the first button out of 7 buttoned and the rest of the 6 unbuttoned. It was a lot to get into, and it does feel like, oh my god, why is she doing that? And then you have to get used to the no dialogue, like quotation marks. I'm gonna defend my girl Sally Rooney to the day I die. I love the books. Beautiful World, Where Are You? 4.25 stars. That's the 11 books that I read this month. 7 books on my October TBR. I read 5 of them, so that's good for me. Maybe December I'll like read a lot, but it's getting to the thick of the semester. Things are happening real fast, and I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to read. These books that I've read basically were all, I was reading them at night. I wasn't really reading throughout the day, so like these are my like nighttime books, and sometimes it just takes a while. Like this book took me a week to read. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'm just staring at my bookshelf. I love this bookshelf. It's so cute. My Sunny Angels are up there. I'm gonna show you them. I feel like it's fun. I'll show you after if you want to do that. I don't want to ruin the camera angle because I have to take my thumbnail. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed hearing my thoughts about these books that I read. Let me know if you want to read any of the books that I read. If I really sold you on one of them. I think I recommend everything on my list. So yeah, if you guys love this video, like, comment, subscribe. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will hopefully be one of the videos that I've been working on for a while. But yeah, I love you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video, and goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye. You guys want to see the Sunny Angels? Look how cute they are. Let me give you a tour. Let me give you a tour. Bookshelf tour. Bookshelf tour. I have Panda. Eggplant. I love the eggplant. I think she's my favorite. Hedgehog. Raspberry. Reindeer. Jelly bean. I used to hate Jelly bean, but I think she's so cute. Her name's Jelly. Oh, let's name them all right now. Let's name them all right now. And then I have the apple back there. I'm gonna do Annie the apple. Annie apple. Polly panda. Ellie eggplant. I think Ellie's not a good name for her. I'm gonna come back to her. Hector hedgehog, Rosie raspberry, Rue reindeer. Oh, that's so cute. Rue reindeer. And then jelly bean. So we have Annie, Polly, Hector, Rosie raspberry, Rue reindeer. Oh, that one's so cute. Jelly bean. Okay, I need to figure out a name for her. I think she's my favorite. She's so cute. Look at her. Oh man, I'm gonna start the video out like this. Hey guys. Welcome back to my channel. Ellie's a little basic for her. Comment down below a name for her, because right now it's Ellie, but I'm not really keen on that. Oh no! Oh no! Get up, everybody, get up! Get up! That's all, guys. Goodbye.